Yeah, I'm really glad to be here to talk a little bit about my perspective on things. It's one of those things that I get to travel around and speak to groups on specific thoughts within the workplace. But some people want to know how I got to this place, how my journey led me to where I am in training development and motivational speaking. So I'm glad to share that with you today. My perspective on purpose. I don't know if I really looked at it as much as I should have before my friend asked me in 2012, what's your definite purpose? And I hate saying I don't know. And because I said, I don't even know what you're talking about, it spawned me to continue to ask more and more questions, to dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And I don't know if he knew that, but I believe that God probably knew that. And it was a great way to get me on the path of where I am now. Because with that being stated, I kept reading, I kept digging, trying to figure out what is this definite purpose. And then when I started asking myself questions and more questions, then what I did is I started developing this purpose. And I believe that purpose is one of those things that if you're hating what you're doing and then you find something that you love, it's probably not going to be found in the thing that you're hating. It's just, I don't think that's just the way it works. I believe that it's going to be found in that thing that you may love. Now, the issue is most people figure out what I love is something on the side. It may not make me any money. Well, that's where I have been spending most of my time saying, I believe there's a way that you can make a living doing the things that you love. I mean, we talk about the Bill Gates, we talk about Oprah Winfrey's, we talk about all of these people who did things that they particularly love. I mean, I was listening to a podcast the other day on Warren Buffett, and he said he found his passion at 7 years old. I mean, some people get it early, some people get it later, some people just really do push it back. But the folks that really want to move forward in life and have a happy life with longevity of freedom, they start asking themselves that question and they connect back to what they really love. Not only do you figure out what you love, but how you can impact people's lives positively by it. When you get to that point where you can say, I love this and I can turn this where this can help so many people, then that's where you get to the point where you say, that's purpose. My perspective on jobs, I would say this perspective is continuously evolving. This perspective on jobs is one of those things that I realize that people have to work. Companies need people to work. The economy needs companies that have people that work. And so I get it. We need some worker bees. But everybody can choose where they need to be in that process and if they're in a journey through quote unquote a job. See, I believe that if you feel like I'm on the lowest rung of the organization, you can stay there, or you can pull yourself into a place where I'm going to build a plan to move up through the company, or you feel that entrepreneurial spirit of, I have to own my business in this particular way, but I'm going to use all of the knowledge and wisdom from the organization. The things that they do well, I'm going to take, and the things that they do wrong, I'm going to also find ways to put that in a category and say, do not do this. Now, when you find that particular piece, then on the job, what you do is you then approach it differently. See, I think the problem is we got people who are in a place where they say they want to talk about being a manager or talk about being a supervisor, but want the responsibility of just being an employee that doesn't have any responsibility. That person who wants to complain all the time and say, if I was in this position, I'll do it this way. If I was there, I surely wouldn't have did it that way. but then they're not ready to spend the extra hours. They're not ready to go the extra mile. And in this life, if you're going to be of value into the organization, into the industry, into the marketplace, you're going to have to be willing to spend some extra time, do some extra things, be more innovative. And if you can't be that, then you are just that employee who wants to go home at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening and watch TV and start the whole day over at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, for that next person who says, I am not at the place where I'm ready to start my company yet, but I am willing, totally willing to learn the best practices here. Get all of the training, all the development, all of the coaching. That person is on their way to being a great entrepreneur or a manager or a supervisor or an exec within a company. And then that last person, that person who actually owns the company, has to be cognizant of the responsibility that they have to make sure that the people who work for the company actually are in an environment where they can grow, an environment where they can be blossoming, and also an environment where it connects them to their passion, connects them to where they're supposed to be. And I talk about customer service all across the country, but here's the biggest deal right now is that customer service is used as a tool, and sometimes it needs to be used, most of the time from my perspective, it needs to be used as a core value. And it only comes from people who are intrinsically motivated to be placed where they are. And that's what happens when you own a company. You should make sure that people want to be there according to their passions, according to what they love to do, and according to their skills and their abilities. My perspective on success, I will say this. Success is one of those things that is always an individual thing. It's always individual. You can't say that it's objective, because to someone it may just be getting $250,000 a year. To other person may be getting $250 million a year. Whatever that is to a person, then you got to figure that out. To some people, a dollar amount does not even fit into their definition of success. It's all about freedom, all about family, all about making sure that they are able to spend time with their friends. And I think for me, my personal definition of success is being able to help people when I want to help people, spend time when I want to spend time with my family, and being able to grow individuals who want to grow. Now, when you are able to do that, then I believe that you get to the point that you're successful. So when I say you could grow people when you want to grow them and make sure that they want to be a part of it, you don't have to be connected to a 9 to 5. Because if they need to meet you at 10:30 in the morning and you're connected and you can't leave your job, that's not success for me. I'm not saying it's not success for someone else, but they need to meet me for coffee because they really have a hard, wrenching situation that they have to make a decision on, and I can't battle or split my time with a meeting within the corporation. I can sit down and have a conversation with them to help them grow and get them through that. That is successful. If my family said, hey, we really want to go on a week-long vacation or two-week-long vacation, and this amount of money is what it's going to take for us to do this, and we just want to make some amazing memories, I can do that without sitting here saying, my gosh, I don't know if I got enough time on the job. I don't know if I have enough money in the bank. No, me to be able to do that without the thought process of trying to figure out that you are in a place of always negotiating with yourself is not success. And I want to be in that place where I'm fully successful. And I think the last piece for me is when you talk about success, it's really all about what when I leave a place, an organization, a association, if I set up 10 companies and they're all doing well, what's my legacy? What do we put in place that can still be there 10 years later, 20 years later? If they wrote a story on me after every company that I left, what would be that story? And if it sits inside of my core values, then that is success for me. I think if there anything that I would say to anybody who's at the place that's saying, you know what, I'm either a college student or I'm brand new into the workplace or I've been there for a while and I'm thinking about jumping off and doing some other things, I would say start with self-development, self-assessment, personal development first. It always starts with you. Everything that you can find, it could be a reason for why you're not doing things and why you're not succeeding that's outside of yourself, is an excuse. Everything. It starts with you. And when you do that, when you start to allocate time to figure out what it is that I'm good at, what it is that makes me tick, what it is that gets on my nerves, how can I improve on that, how can I grow from that, you'll start to just be this person that in your mind you only dreamed of, or that you put in a distance and said, one day I'll get there. You'll start seeing yourself on that path. And it's really energizing because you'll be able to say, oh my gosh, I really, really, really am enjoying myself on this pathway of life.